Okay. Act 5, Scene 8. This is the last scene of the entire play. It's a little bit on the long side because there's so much that has to happen. You know, Macbeth is still alive, and it's literally the last scene of the play. So, let's talk a little bit about structure. You said that Shakespeare's tragedies have kind of a universal structure. There's the setup of something, the accomplishing of something, that thing falls apart. Most of the rest of the play is the picking up the pieces, and the end is the catastrophe for the protagonist. So, the setup, you should be king. The accomplishing, he kills Duncan, becomes king. The fall apart, the messed up assassination of Banquo and Banquo's son, and he's seeing the ghost, and everyone realized this guy's crazy, or he did the murders himself. The picking up the pieces have been everything up until now. And now, as that checklist goes on, is our catastrophe. So we are with Macbeth on a different part of the battlefield.
Why should I play the Roman fool and die on mine own sword? Whiles I see lives, the gashes do better upon them.
So he's standing there, maybe holding his own sword to his throat or to his neck or to his stomach. Why should I play the Roman fool and die by my own sword? In ancient Rome, it was customary to commit suicide if you were dishonored. The main reason was that your family could then inherit your property, as opposed to you being a full traitor and then they lose everything. It's like, well, should I commit suicide? I've already basically have lost. I can't win. While I see lives, while I still see people, the gashes do better upon them. Well, you know what? Instead of stabbing myself, I'll just stab everyone else. I might as well do that. And then enter Macduff.
Tom! Hellhound! Tom!
Of all men else I have avoided thee, but get thee back! My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword, thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out.
Okay. Macbeth sees him, he knows who it is. Of all men else I've avoided thee. Oh, you're the only one I've avoided. Get thee back, get back. My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already. So here's actually, Macbeth is still in control of himself. He realizes, I killed way too many Macduffs already. Please don't make me spill any more Macduff blood. So he has like almost a little bit of compassion in there. I have no words. My voice is my sword. Thou bloodier villain. Then terms can give thee out. And then they start to fight. So it's a little bit overacted because this is just an audio production. You need to be able to figure out what's going on by the sound alone.
Thou losest labour. As easy mayst thou the entrenchant air with thy keen sword impress as make me bleed. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable crests. I bear a charmed life which must not yield to one of woman born.
So Macbeth is getting the upper hand. Thou losest labor. And I don't think he just means you're going to lose because I can't be defeated. He means like, I'm beating you now. Why are you, in the end, why will you lose? Because I bear a charmed life. I have a charmed life, a magically charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born. Yeah, I can't lose to someone born of woman. And of course, you're human, you're born of woman.
Despair thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee, Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Oh, let the angel whom thou still hast served, whoever gave you this charm or told you about this charm, well, you can tell them, Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped. I was untimely ripped from my mother's womb. He means he had a C-section. Or his mother had a C-section. So he was not born out of the birth canal. He was ripped out of the stomach, which of course back then would cause his mom to die. Oh, so technically he was not, quote-unquote, born. he was pulled out of her stomach. Ah, I see what you did there, witches. I see what you did there. It's a dangerous thing to trust prophecies. Okay, let's see what happens now.
Cursed be the tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man.
Oh, you accursed your tongue. It has cowed my better part of man. Now that has made me afraid.
And be these juggling fiends no more believed that palter with us in a double sense, that keep the word of promise to our ear and break it to our hope. I'll not fight with thee.
And he realizes, you know what? You got me, witches. Fate, destiny, chance, whatever. You got me. I'll not fight thee. I'm not going to fight you. And then Macduff says,
Yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee, as our rarer monsters are, painted upon a pole, and under it, here may you see the tyrant.
oh, okay, well, you know what? Then yield, give up, and live to be the show and gaze of time. We'll put you on display, like in a cage. It was a practice to, when you captured the enemy leader, you would put him often on display to show everyone, hey, look what we did to the bad guy. Or don't question my power. But you're going to be like in a freak show, with like the Siamese twins and the like the giants and the non-standard people. And then here you may seize the tyrant, so we'll put you in the freak show. Then Macbeth says,
I will not yield to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet, and to be baited with the rabble's curse. Though Burnham would be come to Dunsinane, and thou opposed being of no woman born, yet I will try the last. Before my body I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macduff, and damned be him that first cries, "Halt! Enough!"
so I will not yield. I'm not going to, you know what? You've convinced me to keep fighting. I will not give up then. Because there's nothing, I will not kiss young Malcolm's feet. I will not give up. Though Burnham would come to Dunsinane. Alright, so that prophecy came true. And thou opposed being no man of woman, though I'm opposing someone not born of woman, yet I will try the last. You know what? I'm going to go fighting. Lay on, Macduff, and damned be him that first cries, hold enough. Yeah, damned be the person that gives up. And Macbeth has been killed. He has been slain. Macbeth is slain. Macduff takes his body and leaves the stage. Then everyone else comes back on stage because now the plot's over. Okay, so Macbeth is dead. We have been with Macbeth for a very long time. So let's talk about this. I heard someone once say that Macbeth is the saddest of all the tragedies because it's the only one in which the plot is based around a good man becoming a bad man, and nothing is sadder and more tragic than that. Now, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if that's correct or incorrect, but it's powerful. We saw a good man turn into a bad man, but knowing he was doing it. And that's what I love about the character of Macbeth. He understands himself. He understands what he's doing is wrong. He understands what's happening to him. He doesn't lie to himself. He's not self-deceptive. He gets it. Now, everything the witches have predicted have come true. Both in the beginning, Glamis Cawdor king, and in the middle, Beware Macduff, Burnham Wood, and no man born of woman. So let's talk a little bit about the fate destiny stuff in this play. Was everything that was going to happen in this play already going to happen, whether or not the witches jumped in and told Macbeth, or them telling him was just them informing him of what was going to happen, and it was going to happen anyway, and Macbeth couldn't do anything about it? Or did them jumping in alter the course of history? They said, oh, you're going to be king, so it put it in Macbeth's mind and made him do that. Or any, I guess, are those the only options? Or, yeah, the witches either had power or had no power. They predicted things that were going to happen or weren't not necessarily guaranteed to happen, but they happened. Of course, Macbeth acted on them. Another big idea, and this is in every Shakespeare play, pretty much. How much are we in control of our actions? All? Not at all? Are we just in control? Like, the endings will always be the same, but whatever we do in the middle, that will always change around? I'm not sure. But those are ideas to contemplate. I like Macbeth as a character because as he speaks, we figure out who he is. He's not one of the characters that has a predetermined set of ideas and just spews them out. In the middle of his conversations, he will come up with his ideas. He lives in the moment. Okay. Interesting. So, everyone walks on the field. And, another thing about Shakespeare's world. They believed in order. We talked about the great chain of being. They believed that in the end, everything always reverts back to order. So, this happens in a lot of the tragedies where there's a resetting of order. Order is established. So it's kind of like saying to the audience, everything will be okay.
I would the friends we miss were safe arrived.
Some must go off. And yet, by these I see so great a day as this is cheaply bought.
So, we miss some friends. I think he means they're dead. And Seward's like, yeah, some must go. But so great as this is cheaply bought. We didn't lose that many troops.
Macduff is missing, and your noble son.
Your son, my lord, has paid a soldier's debt. He only lived but till he was a man, the which no sooner had his prowess confirmed in the unshrinking station where he fought, but like a man he died.
Oh, and your son Seward, he's dead. But he died like a man, but he only lived but till he was a man, meaning he had just become a man, like he just hit puberty or something like that. So he was young, 16 maybe, 14, 18. And then Seward says,
Then he is dead.
Aye, and brought off the field. Your cause of sorrow must not be measured by his worth, for then it hath no end.
Had he his hurts before?
Aye, on the front.
Why then, God's soldier be he. Had I as many sons as I have hairs, I would not wish them to a fairer death. And so his knell is knolled.
He's worth more sorrow, and that I'll spend for him.
He's worth no more. They say he parted well and paid his score, and so God be with him. Here comes newer comfort.
So this is interesting, and I'm almost not sure why this is here, because it doesn't do anything really for the plot. I think, though, this is Shakespeare telling us things. Okay, your son is dead, and Seward says, had he his hurts before, meaning on his front, before him, in front of him. Was he wounded in his front, as opposed to wounded in his back? Because if he was wounded in his back, it means he ran away. If he wounded in his front, it means he died fighting. And then Ross says, aye, on the front. Yes, on the front. Well then, God's soldier be he. Had I as many sons as I have hairs, had I many sons, I would not wish them a fairer death. This is the best death my son could have gotten. And then it's like, okay, well, I'll have sorrow for your son. No. He's worth no more extra sorrow. He paid his score. He's already, he did what he was supposed to do. So he's almost dispassionate. The only thing he really asks about his son is, was he killed fighting, or was he killed running away? And I think this is a comment on masculinity. Did he die like a man, or did he just die? Because dying like a man is the only way to die and still be proud of my son. He's your son, dude. He might be your only son. So that's interesting commentary, I think, on masculinity. And I think that's the only reason why it's here. Shakespeare is probably showing the audience, yeah, this is a little bit not good. Okay? Enter Macduff with Macbeth's head. So remember earlier in the play for the rebels, they cut the head off and put it on a spike or a spear. They did the same with Macbeth, holding Macbeth's head. And remember, one of the apparitions, the last time we saw the witches, was an armored head, a head with armor on it. Oh, that might be Macbeth's head that's been cut off right now. So here we go.
Hail, King, for so thou art. Behold, where stands the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. I see thee compassed with thy kingdom's peril, that speak my salutation in their minds, whose voices I desire aloud with mine. Hail, King of Scotland.
Hail, King of Scotland!
Okay, this is actually very interesting. Here's the usurper's head. Time is free. Like, things are good now. Now, the interesting part here is he says, Hail King, and at the end he says, Hail King of Scotland. Then everyone says, Hail King of Scotland. He is hailed 3 times. So 3 is a magical number. If you remember all the way back to the beginning of the play, the witches first talked to Macbeth with 3 hails. Hail Thane of Glamis, Hail Thane of Cawdor, Hail King that shall be hereafter. So it's a repetition of this. Okay, let's continue. And then Malcolm is going to end the play with a kingly speech. And literally, and that's it. There's no more. Here we go.
We shall not spend a large expense of time before we reckon with your several loves and make us even with you.
We're not going to spend a lot of time figuring out who's owed what. And, make us even with you. Who gets paid and who gets rewarded and who gets promoted.
My thanes and kinsmen, henceforth be earls, the first that ever Scotland in such an honour named.
So that's actually a historical fact which we don't care about. Thane was the old title. Everyone's been promoted to Earl. You've gotten a title change.
What's more to do, which would be planted newly with the time, as calling home our exiled friends abroad that fled the snares of watchful tyranny, producing forth the cruel ministers of this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, who as 'tis thought by self and violent hands took off her life. This, and what needful else that calls upon us, by the grace of grace we will perform in measure, time and place. So thanks to all at once, and to each one, whom we invite to see us crowned at Scone.
And there's the end. So let's talk a little bit about this. All right, we're going to call home our exiled friends. The people that had to flee, like his brother, Donald Blaine, who we haven't seen in all the way since Act 2. Producing forth the cruel ministers, the people that served, so like Seaton, this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen. So that's fairly accurate. Macbeth was a butcher, though he only killed one person with his hands, not on a battlefield. He only murdered one person himself. His queen only did planning, and then she fell apart. In a way, we do a little bit of disjustice by injustice by just calling them dead butcher and fiend-like queen, because they deeply understood what it meant to be human. They were great thinkers. They might not have been great people, or they didn't become, or they wound up being terrible people. They were great thinkers. They're not like the two-dimensional criminals that often get painted in modern movies where all they want is evil. They had depth to them. Okay, this calls upon us by the grace of grace, like the grace of God. We will perform in measure, time, and place. We'll get all this stuff done. So thanks to all at once and to each one. So thank you all for helping me out like with the battle and getting my kingdom back. Though he might also be talking to the audience, whom we invite to see us crowned at Scone, whatever. Just the place where he gets crowned king. And that's the end of Macbeth. It's a weird play. It's a dark play. It's a self-aware play. It's a great examination of evil, and it's a great examination of self-awareness. I hope you enjoyed my reading and close reading and analysis of it. Everyone, be good.